أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I thank Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala for blessing us the blessing of life, of well-being, of afiyah, that we've witnessed this sacred month of Ramadan, and we ask Him to accept from every one of us biqabulin hasan. And thank you all also for giving another opportunity to serve. And Allah Jalla wa Ala make these majalis, make these sessions an asset in our graves, and that would remain a noor for our qiyamah and our akhirah, inshaAllah. May Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, from all the hosts and the organizers of these meetings, Allah accept from them as well, and for their well-being, for marhumeen, for everyone and everyone whatso hajat you may be having, keep Allah fulfill all of them. One of the reminders that can be given over here is that Mu'mineen, they request for du'as, and every time they request for these du'as, which is haqq, and it is their right, and it is upon us to pray for them too. Many a times in this busy schedule that we have, we may forget. So a tip to not forget, it's to sign a mandate with Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala this moment, that whosoever you want to be enlisted in all your actions and a'mal and du'as, sign that mandate with Allah, that whatever that khair is, whatever that hasana is, a share of that be delivered to whosoever you want. And one of the tips is that to be delivered to the Imam of age, alayhi salatu wassalam, and he be the distribution center, so that you get a double bonus, that you've given it to the Imam and he is distributing it, dispatching it for you. And the recipients also get it via the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So that way another beautiful cover would be, a wrapper would be given to those hadaya that you will be sending to your loved ones. It is a wonderful month and the best of months, and Shahrullah, Shahru Ramadhan, alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran, in which Quran was revealed. And then Hudan linnas, it is a guidance for the humanity, guidance for mankind. So for this book and this month we have to work a lot. The investment for the month is for the book, and the book is for the month. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, so it was revealed in this month. So the main importance or the emphasis that we will have to give is to the book of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And adab have to be observed, recitation of Quran has to be done as much as we can, understanding, perceiving, reflecting these ayat of Quran in our day-to-day life. Now all of this is a lesson to myself first, and to you brothers and sisters, a reminding that we have such a wonderful book, which is the only scripture that we have on the surface of this earth which has remained for the past 1500 years without being distorted. No other book do we find with such greatness, with such adama, which hasn't changed at all. And that is the word of Allah, where He has said, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikr wa inna lahu lahafidhun. So Allah has promised, Allah is protecting it, and it is upon us also to make the best of this beautiful book. Now before we get into the main, the topic that we have for these few nights, it is the Wasiyyat of Amirulmomineen to his sons. We'll start it from tomorrow. For tonight, just a few ahkam More or less every one of us knows them, just a reminder to refresh, so that if there is any if there are any newcomers or those who have joined new, they also get to know, and those who know, it's refreshed for them. For this month of Ramadan, you have to have an intention. Before that, you need to be in taqleed of a mujtahid. If someone is not in taqleed of a mujtahid, the actions, the a'mal, they are not accepted. For them to be accepted, you have to be in taqleed of a mujtahid, a living mujtahid, and the most qualified mujtahid that is living today. So then, once you are in taqleed of a mujtahid and you have witnessed the sacred month of Ramadan, you have to fast. And those adab have to be observed. The first thing is to have a niyyat. From this day, you have an intention that you will be abiding by this command of Allah in observing the sanctity of this month and qurbatan ilallah. That will be the niyyah. So with that niyyat, you have embarked on this mission, and in this month, either you can have this one niyyat today, or you can have a niyyat every day. So the easy option is to have it today, qurbatan ilallah. You will be observing the fasts of the sacred month of Ramadan. Eating and drinking is not allowed from the time of Fajr until the time of Maghrib. So make sure that the timetable you have is also accurate. Give a little bit of an ihtiyat. You stop eating a few minutes before Fajr. And then when you are certain of Maghrib, you also break your fast a little bit after Maghrib. Eating and drinking is not allowed. Just like that, having relationships also in this month during fasting is not permitted. Doing anything that would result in a ghusl janabat, that is also forbidden. Lying, saying something that wasn't said by Allah or the Ma'sumeen, that is also not allowed. That is, I say something which wasn't true. Like, for example, I say God has said this in Quran, which was a lie. That will invalidate my fast, and also a compound kafara will apply on me. Then likewise, if I say something which wasn't said by the Imam, by the Prophet, by the Ma'sumeen, I ascribe that lie to the Imam, that is also going to have a compound kafara on me for saying something that wasn't true, ascribing something to the Imam alayhi salam. Whilst a person is fasting, you can go swimming, that's fine, but then be careful you don't ditch your head underwater. Don't submerge your head completely. If someone submerges his head completely underwater, that will invalidate the fast, and also a compound kafara will apply. If you want to swim, and if you've submerged your head such that only half of your head is underwater, one ear is underwater, the other one is out, that will not invalidate the fast. So you can go swimming, you can ditch your head, but not both the ears underwater. If one ear is underwater and the other ear is out, the fast will be valid, no kafara will apply. Going to a place where there's thick smoke and dust, not allowed. And if that dust and smoke gets into your throat from where the letter kha is pronounced, that will also invalidate the fast. So be careful, don't go to places. But alhamdulillah, nowadays with these masks, even if there's dust and smoke, it won't get into us. So that is something, that getting that dust and smoke into our system, into the throat from where the letter kha is pronounced. Using eye drops, ear drops, nasal drops, if it gets into your throat from where the kha is pronounced, that will invalidate the fast. So be careful if you have to use these drops, either use them before you start your fast or after your fast, or if it is something which can be used and does not get into your throat from where the letter kha, that is the top of the throat, then that's fine. This question that is asked a lot nowadays, vaccinations, these COVID vaccines, are they permitted to take whilst a person is fasting? Yes, you can. Vaccinations are allowed. Any injections, any painkillers that can be injected, all of that is allowed. That what is you have to refrain from is IVs or anything that would be giving you energy, like energy boosters, and in the IV form, that has to be refrained. These are some of these rules that we have for the fast, which generally are have to be observed. Now, this is regarding the ahkam of the month. Now, someone who cannot fast, like an old age or pregnant mother or mother feeding an infant, in all these cases where if she fasts, it's going to be harmful to the baby or herself, or if she is pregnant, it's going to be harmful to her or the baby. In all these situations, she will not fast. Fasting is not wajib on her, then she just waives that fast by paying a fidya, which is 750 grams of wheat or raisins or rice, whatever. In dollars, it's going to be around $3, $2, whatever you can afford. Pay that per fast, and then you don't fast during this month. And inshallah, later in your life, whenever you get an opportunity, the first opportunity, you'll have to make up these fast. For those who are old, for those who are ill, for those who are traveling, there is no fast. And these were some of the rules that you have to abide by, observe them during the month of Ramadan. Now, someone, if he breaks his fast or tampers or does one of these invalidators of fast intentionally, a compound kafara will apply on him. If he was in the state of janabat and he did not perform ghusl before Fajr, so he will have to pay a compound kafara, which means he has to feed 60 people, which is $200, and then he will have to observe 60 fasts and a 1 qaza. So that much of a compound kafara will apply for doing anything, one of these, for invalidating the fast. Now, one of the ahkam it's good to know is that you have these tayammum tools ready. Tayammum is done on stone, on dust or sand. So it has to be dry, it has to be clean, or even if you have a cement wall without any paint on it, if you've got your kitchen counter which is made of real stone, that will also do. If you've got a wall in your home which is made of real stone without anything on it, any paint or something on it, then you can still perform tayammum on it. Just wash it, it has to be tahir. And the way how you do tayammum, that is, first of all, to enter into the fast, you have to be in the state of taharat. Means that if ghusl was wajib, he has to perform that ghusl, and only then can he enter into the fast. And if the time was short, or there wasn't any water, or he couldn't perform ghusl and he woke up late and there isn't any time, he quickly performs tayammum, qurbatan ilallah, instead of that ghusl. The way he does is that he removes his rings, his glasses, and then you hit your two hands on that surface on which tayammum is allowed. It's either stone or dust or sand. It has to be dry and clean. People say on wood it is not allowed. If it is, yes, dusty, there's a lot of sand and dust that has settled on the wood, that's fine. Otherwise, on wood, you cannot perform tayammum. So you hit your two hands with the intention, qurbatan ilallah, I am performing this tayammum instead of ghusl, qurbatan ilallah, and then from the edge of your palm and from where your hair grows, you bring your two hands up there, bring them all over down onto your forehead and towards the two sides of your forehead. That's the face is done. And again you hit, this is mustahab to hit again for the second time, and with your left hand from your wrist here, you bring your hands all the way, your hand all the way until your fingertips. So when you're wiping this hand, be careful that you have touched the edge of this hand, both sides, like that. And with my right hand, I do the same from my wrist. I bring it all the way until the edge of my finger. So this tayammum is done, and with this I can start my fast and I am safe. Now for the prayers, if there is time, if there is water, you need to perform ghusl and then you say your prayers. But now the fast, it is safe. So you can you can fast and there is no penalty that will be applied. So have these tools ready any moment if it is required. You can have this done. This was a little bit about the rules that we have for the fast. Now it is a beautiful month, and the reward also that is for this month, it is huge. The Almighty says that He has a set amount for as ajr, for every action that you do. But for the fast and for these observing the month of Ramadan, He says the reward of that, I don't have any price list set for that. Says ana ajzi bih, I will reward. Elsewhere says I am the reward. So whatever you will do in this month of Ramadan, Allah will reward you, or He Himself is the reward. Why we say He is the reward? As He has said, when we do these a'mal and actions, we have the intention qurbatan ilallah. Qurbatan ilallah means to seek the nearness of Allah. Now we, by this fast, want to get near to Allah. Now He there says that ana jaza'uhu, I am the reward. That is, He has sought so close to me that He has sought me as the reward and ajr of that fast. So fast is beautiful. It's one of those actions that no one can show off as to whether he is fasting or not, unless he just admits and keeps on saying that I'm fasting and I'm hungry and I haven't eaten and all that stuff. So if he doesn't do that, no one will find out whether he's fasting or not. All these invalidators of fast that were mentioned, he can do any one of them and no one would find out, but his God knows. He knows that what he is. So intentions over here matter a lot when it comes to fast. And the more the intention, the purer the intention, the more the ikhlas in this action, the higher the value and the price and the worth and the ajr of that amal is going to be. Ikhlas matters, and that what this fast teaches us is ikhlas. That is, you can be pure, you can attain this purity in this beautiful month of Ramadan, and you can get to whatever you want. It's a fast track that Allah has placed for our well-being, for our forgiveness, for our promotions, for our elevations to the higher ranks. One of the ulama that we have who attained that marja'iyat at a blink of an eye, you can say, in a flash, is Marhum Shafti. Those of you who are from Iran, there's a masjid there in Isfahan. It's called Masjid Hujjatul Islam. Sayyid Shafti, he built it. Says that he was very poor, hadn't eaten for a long time. It was hot. There was a drought, and he was hungry for a few days. He got some money, and he said, "I'll go and get some abgusht." And gets that abgusht is like siripaya. He has that. Says, I bought a little bit. I didn't have the vessel also, so I borrowed the vessel from that restaurant. He puts it in that and gives it to me. I was coming to my room, and then on my way I see that there is a pool of water and there is a dog who has given birth with all the puppies there, and she is looking at me desperately, and she hasn't eaten anything, and she is, you can say, dehydrated and dying. He said to himself that I am a human being, I can do and I can survive. I have waited for all these days, I can wait for a few more days and to have a meal. So whatever he bought, he placed it before that dog, and she eats it, and she looks at him as if she wants to say something to him. He says that after she had had the meal, I took that vessel, I washed it, and I took it back to the restaurant to return it to him. Says, I returned it to him, and I was coming back to my room. Someone came and knocked and said, he introduced himself, asked for me, and he gave me a big amount of money. Someone else popped in. He says that there was another person in a city nearby. He had a wasiyyah, he was on his deathbed, a very wealthy man. Says, 1/3 of my belongings, of my wealth, be given to this Sayyid Shafti. Says that we are abiding by the wasiyyat of that man, we have come to you to give you all that wealth. Says this person who was struggling for his own hand to mouth, for his own meal, was given so much that hundreds of people were fed by him from this point. He says, I calculated that when that person died and this money came to me and the food that was given to that dog, says it was exactly the same time, that Allah accepted that from me and paid me back in such a beautiful way. That was as a result of that ikhlas. Ikhlas is that sincerity, that purity that was in him, no one knew, he and his God. So that ikhlas can be worked and can be sought in this month of Ramadan easily, and a lot more of that can be acquired. Now all of this, again, a lesson to myself. The reward that Allah gives also for each day of the fast, that is immense. I'll just quote you what He gives for the first 2 days, and then you can look into the riwayah yourself, that how much of a bestowal He has for just being in this month of Ramadan. It's His month. He says that all of you are my guests. So He is the host, we are the guests, and He addresses us as Dhuyufur Rahman, that is the guests of the merciful God. On 2 occasions He does that, here in the month of Ramadan and in Mecca and Medina. Those who travel there for Umrah and Hajj are also Dhuyufur Rahman, guests of the merciful God, and over here also it's the same. So if we benefit from this table that He has laid for us, we are the ones who will be benefiting. And if we don't benefit, don't eat from that table, and with all these different excuses that we have, we don't come by the table, then we are the losers. So it's the night of the first. So from this moment we have to make a plan that priority has to be given to this holy month of Ramadan, or everything else has to be secondary. So whatever you can, whatever I can, from all my work that I do, a lot has to be given to this month. In that are these du'as that we have, in that is the recitation of Quran, in that are the azkar, are the tasbihat, are the du'as, are the prayers. You have to take a lot on board. And then this month, when it ends, when it leaves, then it's going to be for another year, and we don't know as to whether or not we will be there for the next year or not. So whatever has to be done now. Sa'id bin Jubair is the last shaheed who was killed by Hajjaj bin Yusuf, la'natullah alayh. Tens of thousands of mu'mineen he killed, and this is the last one. Sa'id bin Jubair. After that, this Hajjaj bin Yusuf did not survive for 2 weeks. He got mad and he died. Now this shaheed, he says that I came to Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas is the first mufassir of Quran. Says to him that, can you tell me the reward that Allah has for fasting the month of Ramadan? He says, you've asked me something, I can't just answer you now. Take some time out, come and meet me with some extra time so that I can explain to you and tell you what the Prophet has said to me. And when I say that to you, no ear has ever heard, no eye can ever see, no heart can ever perceive, that what Allah Ta'ala has hidden, has kept for those who observe the fasts of the sacred month of Ramadan. And then he says, the next day I came to the masjid, I performed my Fajr prayers, and then I came to Ibn Abbas, he was there, and I said, you said to me to come, so this is my first opportunity, and I'm free now, I'm ready to listen to whatever you have. He says, he comes there, he sits there, and he says, إِذَا كَانَ أَوَّلُ لَيْلَةٍ, when it is the night of the first of the sacred month of Ramadan, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لِأُمَّتِي الذُّنُوبِ كُلَّهَا. Says, on the night of the first of Ramadan, Allah forgives the sins of my nation, sins of the inhabitants, of the mu'mineen, of the muslimeen, of my nation, says all of them, all of the sins He forgives. And then says those sins that were done secretly, those sins that were done openly, all of that is forgiven. And Allah, He elevates him and gives him a rank which is 2 million ranks higher. Now in some of the riwayat there says that the distance, the passage between one rank to the other, it's greater than the space that is between this earth and the sky. So 2 million ranks, where it's going to take us, Allahu A'lam. That is for the first night, forgiveness of sins, and then Allah elevates and ascends us by such a high rank. And then says, and on the second day, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, for every step you take, in whatever you do, for every step of yours, fi dhalika al-yawm ibadatu sanatin, for every step of yours on that second day whilst you are fasting, He writes a year's worship. Then He writes the sawab of a prophet, and then He writes for every step of yours the sawab of a year's fasting as well. So that much of an ajr and sawab He has for every day of the sacred month of Ramadan. Now this month it has a dua. For each day there are these small du'as. You can get them online, recite them. The dua that we have for the day 1, it is Allahumma ja'al siyami siyam as-sa'imeen. Allah, make this fast of mine the fast of those who fast. So fasting and fasting, there's so much of a difference between the two. Just abiding by those do's and don'ts, a person has observed the fast. But that is not that high class and high quality fast. High quality fast is those basics that were just mentioned in the ahkam, they be observed, they be refrained. Plus, in addition to that, there are things that may not invalidate the fast, like backbiting, like accusing someone, like lying, or like doing something negative or bad. It may not invalidate the fast. But then that higher quality fast that we have, it definitely tampers that. So for us to perform a high quality fast, we say siyam as-sa'imeen. That is, there have been people in this grand creation of Allah whose fasts were definitely different, not like the fast that we observe, the basic, the elementary level fast. They had the high quality fasts. So we are also aiming towards that high quality fast which the best of the Salihin, the noble creation of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, they observed. For that, in addition to these muharramat or invalidators of fast, everything that is haram has to be put aside. Everything that is wajib and mustahab to be taken on board. And then there's a third level towards that elite and that high class fast, and that is nothing negative should come to my heart. So all these pop-ups, windows that open up in our minds, in our hearts every now and then, we have to quickly and constantly keep on closing, minimizing them, so that they don't open up and we don't click on that and it just takes us anywhere. So we have to keep on minimizing those pop-ups, those khuturat that come to our heart, for us to perform a high class and a high quality fast. Now because it's the first day, and if we admit and we take these strong and severe steps, it's going to be easier in the remaining 29 days. If this first day is taken easy, then the other days also it will be, no one will care for that. So first day, have that mandate signed, have these intentions made, and also that the high class fast will be observed. And then says, Nabbihni fihi an nawmatil ghafilin. There are people who are unaware. Allah, you keep me alert. You keep me awake. Allah, you always remind me. And if I'm doing something wrong, quickly make me understand that I've taken the wrong step. Wahabli jurmi fihi ya ilah al-alameen. And Allah, forgive the wrong that I have done in this month. Ya ilah ya afiyan anil mujrimeen. Oh, he who forgives the wrongdoers. So it is a beautiful month, and for this Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in that lengthy khutbah that he gave prior to the arrival of the sacred month of Ramadan, he says that a month is sheltering upon you, and this month it is the best of months. A month which has a Laylatul Qadr, which is better than 1,000 months. That is, you can get 84 years ahead in your plans, in whatever you want to get to, and a month wherein your nafas, your breathing, it is tasbih. A month, if you were tired, you slept, that sleeping will be worship. A month, whatever you do, it is accepted. Whatever you ask for, it is granted. And then he says that the best of things that you can do in this month is that this burden of wrong and sins that we are carrying, says that shed them away, get yourself forgiven, ease yourself, lighten yourself. And how can you do it? The Prophet, he says that by two things. One, it is by fasting, which we already are, and then performing long and lengthy sajdas, by being in sajda in this month. So try to perform some extra sajdas. These extra sajdas have has a very beautiful effect in us being forgiven and in bonding and connecting to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And it is one of those statuses that Allah loves to see His servant in the state of sajda, or when he is fasting. So we are already fasting, so we have to add a sajda to it. And these sajdas that are performed, Allah loves them, accepts them, and then grants whatever you want for that sajda. And then He boasts towards the angels and says that, were it not you who objected when I wanted to create man, and you said you want to create someone who is to cause corruption and bloodshed in the land, look at this human being, this my creation. I haven't obligated him. He himself has bowed down into sajda, and he is in sajda before me. And now Allah says, whatever he asks me, I will give. So these sajdas have to be done. And then Rasulullah says, a month has come to you wherein the reward you get for reciting one ayah is one complete Quran. So if you recite one Suratul Ikhlas, you get the reward of 5 complete Qurans. And then if the intention and your ikhlas and your purity also is a high quality and high class, the reward also over there, that also intensifies. So here says, whatever you recite from Quran, every ayah equals one complete Quran. So make the best. And among the mustahabbat that we have for this month is to recite Suratul Qadr as much as you can. The prescription from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says that the Suratul Qadr 1,000 times every day. Suratul Dukhan at least 3 times every day. That is 100 times in the month. Prayers we have, du'as we have, recitals we have, salam, the salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad we have, which are a lot. Now one of the easy munch size a'mal that you can definitely do is, there is a 2-rakat prayer that you offer after your Isha prayers. That is Suratul Hamd you recite, and then you recite Suratul Ikhlas 3 times in the first rakat, and the same thing in the second rakat, Suratul Hamd and Suratul Ikhlas 3 times. And once you've done that, you end your prayers, and there is a small dua that you recite after your prayers. So that is one of the easy amal that you can take on board, because tonight is the first. Do that. That is after your Isha prayers. Offer this 2-rakat prayer, Suratul Hamd, 3 Qul Huwallah in each rakat, and after that Subhana man huwa hafizun la yaghful. That is the dua. You can find it online, or I can send it to you. Do that, and that is one of the easy things. Dua iftitah is there. And being the night of the first of the sacred month of Ramadan, dua joshan kabir. And Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that if someone recites this dua joshan kabir on the night of the first, he will be blessed to perceive Laylatul Qadr. And the aim and the goal that we have also is to perceive Laylatul Qadr. And which Laylatul Qadr we don't know. That itself is a suspense. Maybe the 19th, maybe the 21st, maybe the 23rd. But when we get to that and we are able to perceive that Laylatul Qadr, you have heaped and you've jumped ahead by 84 years. That is Alf Shahr that has been mentioned in that surah. Now here the Prophet in this khutbah, he continues saying that you protect your tongues in this month. You protect your sights in this month. And you don't look at that what has been forbidden for you to look at. You guard yourself in this month. Amma la yahillu al-istima' ilayh. And then you have to, the other thing which the Prophet he emphasizes in this month is وَتَحَنَّنُوا عَلَى أَيْتَامِ النَّاسِ. For those who are orphans, have mercy on them. Upon your elders, respect them, honor them, be good to them. And towards your youngsters, be kind to them. All these beautiful quotes then Rasulullah has. And then he says that when you want to break your fast, also break your fast with a date. And say Bismillah and recite Suratul Qadr and then Suratul Ikhlas. If you can top it up with an Ayatul Kursi, and there is a small dua, Allahumma laka sumtu wa ala rizqika abtartu wa alayka tawakkaltu. So you can say that and then you break your fast with a date and then have some warm water. That is also mustahab, to have some warm water that will settle your stomach, and that is mustahab and taught by Rasulullah. The adab that he has taught when consuming dates, he says that eat dates in odd numbers. Don't eat dates in even numbers. So it's either 1 piece or 3 pieces, 5 pieces. In odd numbers you consume your date. That is again the mustahab that Rasulullah has taught us. Now one of the ways how you can even top up and further enhance the ajr and sawab of this fast of yours is that before you eat, say Ya Sahib al-Zaman Adrikni. So that is an extra connection you will have with Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, that you've remembered him throughout the fast, and now that you're breaking your fast, because Allah says the moment that a mu'min wants to break his fast, that is the happiest moment he has. He has observed a fast for the entire day. Now that he's breaking, he's happy. So in that joy of the mu'min that you are seeking and getting, you are taking Imam as your partner, as your sharik, that he is also a partner in that joy of yours. Generally what we do is that when we have problems, we have pains, we have worry, we have illnesses, we have all these distresses and stresses in our life, we call upon the Ma'asumeen to ease them. Generally, we don't have them on board when we are happy, which is bad and also sad. So here we have to learn to take them on board, come to them. If we were blessed with some joy, we come and share that with the Imam. Say, Imam, thank you, and I want to share this joy with you. That is a healthy relationship that we can have with the Imam and with the Almighty Allah by performing those sajdas. So here, this khutbah Sha'baniyah of Rasulullah, it's amazing. He says that all these sins and the burden that you are carrying, shed it away by performing sajdas and by coming to the existence of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Allah, and says that whosoever offers a lot of prayers, he will ease and remove the burden that is on him. One of the best of recitals for this month, it is Salawat ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Recite that as much as you can. And then says that the doors of the heaven, they are open upon you. Ask that Allah, He doesn't shut them upon you. Says the doors of hell, they are closed and shut upon you. You ask Allah that He doesn't open them before you. And then He says that ask for whatever you want. Says Shaitan is in chains and is locked up in this month of Ramadan. So you ask Allah that He doesn't dominate Shaitan upon you after this month of Ramadan. So all these special perks and blessings, favors are there from the Almighty Allah for this beautiful month of Ramadan. We ask Allah to accept us all biqabulin hasan, and the best of rewards and ajr that the best of His servants asked for in this month, we also ask for the same, because on the day of Eid we say in Qunut, As'aluka an tudkhilani fi kulli khayrin adkhalta fihi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, that Allah enter me into every good that you made Muhammad and ali Muhammad enter, and every bad and every evil that you have kept them away from, keep me also away from all that bad and all that evil. So dua also has to be large, has to be big, that what you want from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So the dua that you will have on the day of Eid, have it from tonight, that all of that be given to you, and when you say that, that is what exactly you have asked Him for. May Allah help us, and those who have passed away, who are not with us, a share and ajr of all of these observances be sent to them, insha'Allah. And Ya Allah, all those who are ill and ailing, grant them shifa. All those who have passed away, forgive them, elevate their ranks. Hasten in the return of our Imam, our Master, our Hujjah. Count us all among the best of His servants, and those who seek shahadat in His service. وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.